So far on this season of Graveyard Carz, we've made fantastic progress on the cars in our shop. We finished the Phantasm Tribute Cuda just in time for Don Coscarelli and A. Michael Baldwin to sign the car and take it for a joyride.
I love this car!
The AAR Cuda got finished and delivered to Chris Driscoll just in time for me to blow his doors off on the Hot Wheels track.
Today is your day.
And we finished the one-of-one 1970 Dodge Challenger RT factory sunroof car.
What do you got to say about that?
Without a doubt, this is one of the most beautiful and valuable cars we've ever restored. But this season is not over yet. Our 1970 Plymouth Superbird is back from the dipper and ready for its new sheet metal from our friends over at Auto Metal Direct. And our friend Tom Partridge is waiting impatiently for us to finish his 69 Charger Daytona.
When's it going to be done?
And if that's not enough, we've got 2 Plymouth GTX convertibles just added to the queue. The first belongs to one of the biggest Mopar collectors in the world.
You know, this GTX, it represents everything that was great about Detroit.
And the other is the property of one of the biggest human beings in the world, former world heavyweight pro wrestling champion Bill Goldberg.
You know, I'll probably make 1 or 2 enemies along the way, but just add those to the list.
Don't miss a second.
We got work to do.
The stakes are higher than they've ever been
There ain't nothing we can't fix.
on this season of Graveyard Carz.
Come on, come on.
You are a U-turn for humanity.
That's not a good sign. That's a terrible sign.
Not a garbage can or a shelf. Mark! I sure don't know where Royal's been lately. All I know is he hasn't been here helping at Graveyard Carz.
Freeze your ass right there.
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
The unburied dead are coming back to life.
My name is Mark Warman. I work with my worst enemy, Darren Kirkpatrick.
Give me a gun!
And my son-in-law, Josh. Whoa! Along with my best friend, Royal.
Well, all right.
And our newest team member, Holly.
This is exciting.
We bring dead cars back to life. If we don't kill each other.
Oh, Mark!
Oh. It's gonna be a bloodbath.
So what we got to do is the 440's coming back. I want to get it built out this week, okay? I want to get it ready to get painted so we can put it on the engine stand so when the Superbird is done, we can get it together. I'm not waiting till the last minute on that car. We do have a lot of things that need to get done. The 440 Super Commando engine is prepared for assembly. The 1970 Dodge Challenger RT 440 6-pack needs to be completely disassembled and off of the bin pack lift so that we can move the Daytona over, raise it up, and reunite it with its drivetrain. Well, I've got Derek. Okay.
Well, where's your number one guy, Royal, at?
I have no idea where Royal's at. I'm sure whatever he's doing is super important. I'm just sure of it. Royal's been gone for a few days now. Absolutely no idea where he's at. Even more important, I couldn't care less. I have responsibilities. I have clients that need their cars back, and we have timelines. We're carrying on. Are we all clear?
Yeah. So what do you want to do first? Hey, I got a great idea. Let's call Royal and see what he's doing.
Yeah, I've got his number. Actually, I was going to call him too. And see what the
Today,
hell
Turtle
he's up to.
Turds.
I think I'm going to get me one of these pods. Maybe one of these pods for my car. I get a lock that only I have the key to also. Something stinks out here.
Okay, freak, here's what I want to have done before Darren comes back in. He's out getting me a couple of pieces for the front suspension, like the K-member bolts. I want to get the KV lines that we got from Mr. Moparts and the upper fuel lines that we got from him. I want to get those in and on. They're just right, easy, nice to do. I want to put the spacer in here, and I want to get the linkage hooked up to it. This is just nice and easy to get to right now, and I want to run the wires. The Daytona Charger has really made a lot of stride in the last few months. I have to attribute some of that to Mr. Moparts, who has supplied us with all the parts to put it together. I feel like now we're on a roll. I think that we're really starting to get a rhythm, and I'm getting excited about seeing this car done.
Hallelujah. 2 K-member bolts. Cat landmines. That's what's stinking. Gross.
So we'd like to get that in there because I don't want to be laying, that nose is a country mile long on that car and I don't want to be doing this. Well, your orangutan ass won't have a problem with it, but my little Rocky Balboa body might kind of, you know. So
I think he'll take offense to you saying that, by the way.
Oh, well, why don't you bring it on then, okay?
See the monkeys that have been loose here. Idiots. It's not a garbage can or a shelf. Look at all this crap. Who's throwing all this stuff on my car now? This is ridiculous.
I'll be the Ivan Drago, buddy. Come on.
Well, why don't you be Ivan Drago? You know what happened to him? He got beat, okay?
Yeah.
He got beat because he had no heart. Because he had no heart.
Exactly, but you don't have a heart either.
Oh, no, I'm all heart.
Yeah.
I'm a walking heart.
Mark Warren
My legs are aortas.
This is, you're...
Josh has no idea about fighting with heart because he's never had to do it and he doesn't have the heart to do it with. I'm in the ring, it's 15th round, Apollo Creed, toe-to-toe, go for it.
More junk. This is not my, you know. And they've got, somebody's been sandblasting out here. It's not the beach.
Everything else is ready to go. We can get the engine set in the car. And the rear end, just make sure when we have the Daytona up in the air.
Right.
Make sure when we have the Daytona up in the air. It's not bolted on, fool.
Yeah, I know that because I need
that the rear suspension, you just need to focus because I know how your people are.
Whoa, what do you mean you people?
Idiots.
Ah, okay.
I figured out a while back that Josh has focus problems. He starts drifting off, but now I've learned to look for the signals. So if his eyes start to kind of go off one way while I'm talking to him, I can snap him back. And I've just learned that if I do that, it keeps him on track, keeps him focused, things go better. I want to make sure that we tighten down the leaf spring perches, the shackle bolts for the rear end because they weren't completely tightened down in place when we had it mocked into place for Tom.
Dang it, Mark. The horns are gone for the second or third time. And the bolts. Okay, I'm gonna take this car out of here. This is enough. I'm tired of it being a parts car or anything else. Okay, Mark, we gotta discuss a few things.
If I'm driving down the road at 60 miles an hour in that Daytona and the right rear wheel passes me on the freeway, the first thing I'm gonna think of is killing you.
Mark!
Okay.
Mark!
True or false? The ultra rare and collectible 1970 Plymouth Superbird was available only with a mandatory full vinyl roof. The answer coming up after the break. So was the full vinyl roof mandatory on all 1970 Plymouth Superbirds? The answer is true. Due to the short time frame they had to convert the cars to a Superbird from a Roadrunner and put the back window plug in, they did not have time at the factory to finish off the bodywork right, so they covered it with a mandatory full vinyl top. Visit graveyardcars.com to learn more. The Superbird engine still needs to be put together. The six-pack Challenger has to finish being disassembled. We have to get the Daytona on the rack, raise it up in the air, and put the suspension underneath it. I got a chrome dome missing in action, and I got Darren out back complaining about his car becoming a cesspool.
Mark.
Yes. What's
the deal with my car?
I don't get the question.
Well, it's people have got parts and cardboard and door panels and everything all over the car. The cat's using it as a litter box. My horns are gone.
That doesn't
I don't see anything funny about it there.
That doesn't help the situation. Darren's sick of his car sitting here getting nothing done on it. Well, guess what, sports fans? I'm sick of it too. I'm sick of him whining and complaining about the condition of the car, parts missing off the car, my car's sitting out in the weather, I'm gonna do this, and then he never does it. He wants to take his car out of here. I say, Saya Nara. Where are we going?
We're going to Josh's house.
Wait, what?
Look at this ape. You're gonna trust your car out there? You think it was bad here?
Yeah.
At my house.
Yeah.
He will catch it on fire.
No, this is perfect. Darren and I are actually good buddies, so this could turn out to be a good thing.
It needs to get out of the weather, Josh. That's what it needs, okay, for a while. Let me regroup.
I agree.
Do some things like that. Get some new friends, you know?
I'm not gonna miss that car one little bit. It is fine with me. All he does is complain that he can't work on it because he's sick, he's broke, he's got a headache, he's got something wrong with him. Tired of excuses. Everybody knows what excuses are like. I don't make excuses, I get things done. So it's good riddance to bad rubbish. Hallelujah. While we're waiting for a few last pieces to show up for the Daytona so we can wrap up the front suspension, we're gonna start assembling the engine for the Superbird. Derek and Josh put the rings on the pistons, so now we are ready to build the short block out. So you know that the short block itself does not have the heads on it. It's everything below the head. So it's the crankshaft, the connecting rods, the pistons, the timing cover, the timing chain, that's all short block. Long block would include the heads.
Oh, okay.
So that's the difference between a short block and a long block.
So
Right now,
so you're a short block. You don't have a head.
so we want to take all of our main cap bolts out right now, because when they did a line hone on it, they torqued those into place. So let's take those out.
You line board it?
What did I say, line honed?
Yeah.
Line board. I want you to set them in order.
Yes.
Take the bolts out of them and set them in order. You know, my job isn't just to make sure one car's done. I have to make sure all the car's done. That means while the Daytona still needs to be put together, the Superbird engine also needs to be put together and ready for paint. Now, the rear main seal retainer that I gave you to wire wheel earlier today, that's the aluminum piece you asked if you could sandblast, and I said no.
Did you get that done?
No.
Okay, where is it?
It is in the box.
Okay, it's one of the first things that has to be done, which is why I asked to have
Make
it
sure it's in
done.
order now.
Yeah, I
But I don't know what I was thinking. All Josh serves to do is reinforce the old adage, if you want something done right, do it yourself.
You know, if Royal was here, he'd be my wingman.
Why?
He'd show me the steps. Speaking of
Where
where
is
the hell
Royal?
is, I
Where
don't
is
know
he?
where the hell
I sure don't know where Royal's been lately. All I know is he has been here helping at Graveyard Cars. I think he's been playing with his new Jeep.
Either that or maybe he's just tired of Mark. Obviously, he's stressed out about it. I don't
He
think
is?
we should bring it up to him. He seems like
I don't think we should either. I don't think I should bring it up either. Hey, Mark, where's Royal?
Nice, Darren. We could definitely use Royal's help. It always pays to have him here, you know, because we all work great as a team.
It would be great to have the extra help. I'd love to have him here. There's 100 cars here. There's 1,000 things to do. It doesn't take 4 guys to put an engine together, so he could be doing something else. Take a look at that instruction right there. That instruction's there for a reason. So if this rear main seal, take it out of the package. Okay. I want to teach you something here. I'm not going to be condescending and pick on you. Now that's a very sensitive, so you can't do your caveman thing where you hit it with a big rock and then fillet it open so you and Mama can have baby tonight, okay?
I thought you weren't going to be condescending.
Well, I didn't think you were going to destroy a brand new main seal. Did you warp it?
Yeah, I did. I broke it. I tore the packaging.
Okay.
Mark.
Which way, based on that picture, would you say this seal goes in? Like that or like that? You know, Josh is, what do they call him, the greenhorn? He's the new kid on campus. He has been here a couple of years, but he hasn't done any internal engine work to speak of.
Can I look at
I just witnessed a miracle. You actually have it backwards, even with the picture. I think he's doing okay. He's not a real fast learner. He's a bit on the slow side when it comes to picking it up. You're not the sharpest knife in the drawer. It's not a big
But it'll
deal.
still stab the shit out of you.
So those are our rod bearings. They're smaller. They go in the connecting rod. These are the main bearings. So when you hear the term, I spun a rod bearing, I spun a main bearing, these are what they're talking about.
Okay.
So these are
main bearing.
And those are?
Rod bearings.
Okay. This is the main one. This goes in the center. This holds the majority of the load. Okay, so this one goes in the center. The other ones do not matter as long as they go in with the notches in the correct area. That's your main center journal, okay?
Okay.
So, you see that notch right there?
I do.
Is there a notch on that?
Is that it right
Yeah,
there?
it is it.
Okay.
Very good. And the reason you could tell that that went there is because, do you see the relief right here in this journal?
Yeah.
So this main journal right here that takes these big heavy ones, it goes like that and then out. So there's a big relief right there in the middle for this rib, where these don't have that. There's no machined off area here for that. So this, again, watching the tab would go in there. You want to make sure that's lined up.
So these are all called journal openings, but this is the main journal opening.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
The
it's the
journals with the
center
crank
carrier.
fit down in there.
Oh.
Crank just spins in there, what it does.
As we were assembling the motor, I actually learned a lot about the main bearings and the rod bearings. There's so much that go into these motors, you have to be on top of things.
Once you have the crankshaft installed in the engine and torqued down to spec, you can build the rest of the engine out. That's installing the pistons and the rods. Once that's done, you can install the camshaft, the rocker arms, the push rods, the timing cover, all the water pump, and the rest of the pieces that need to be on the engine before it's ready for paint. Josh is off 8 hours a day when he's at work.
The engine's coming together okay.
We actually made a lot of progress this afternoon on the 70 Challenger 6-pack car. Are you going to help or are you going to stand there? Darren moved his car out to Josh's house. I say adios. The Superbird engine work is underway, and still missing in action is one chromium dioxide. So we just got our Superbird back from American Metal Cleaning up in Portland. I just wanted to take a couple of minutes to point out some things that if you're doing a project yourself or if you're going to hire somebody to have it done, just some little tidbits for you to know about the body replacement, when you should replace the panel, when you shouldn't, and how you can protect it. So the first thing you're going to notice is that our Superbird is partially in bare metal and partially painted this black paint. Okay, the thinking behind that is the panels that are going to get replaced that we've already established are so rusty that they need to be replaced. They don't have the treatment on them. The treatment is DP90, that's Delta Papa 90. The DP90 is an epoxy that you can spray directly over bare metal. It has a phosphoric acid in it that helps stop any rust that could surface in the last couple of days since the car was dipped, and it seals it from the outside air. One of the things that you hear a lot about is rotisserie restorations. Now, just real quickly, people use that term a lot. They don't actually use it accurately in some cases. Being on a rotisserie should mean that it's the very best job that you can do. It allows me to get to the areas that are difficult to get to if you're laying on your back or jacked up in the air, or if it's on a hoist, you're welding upside down. With a rotisserie, you can put it at any level that is conducive to where you want to be standing when you're doing your repairs. I've actually owned quite a few rotisseries, and the Whirly-Jig has been the best one so far. So if you're doing one at home, invest in the rotisserie. The money you're saving by not going to a regular certified body shop, you have the money to buy a Whirly-Jig. As far as the actual metal itself goes, let's take a look at the roof skin. This had a vinyl top on it. This is an original vinyl top. Vinyl tops were mandatory on all Superbirds. If you ever see a Superbird that doesn't have a vinyl top, it isn't factory. Because of the rush they had to put the plug in the back end of these cars, this is the rear window plug, it was a terrible finish work, so they made it mandatory to hide it all. It's like carpet hides a multitude of sins, vinyl tops hide a multitude of sins when it comes to finish work on the body. That's why they were mandatory. These are the frame rails we were talking about. This is the rear frame rail for the right-hand side. This is where the leaf springs bolt on. This one does have one small section right here. They make this rail, AMD, you can buy this from Auto Metal Direct, but this one needs really a small piece of hand-broke metal. That's where we shape it by hand. Cut this out and weld the new piece in. The rest of it is nearly like new, including even the holes aren't manipulated, which a lot of times tow hooks, people tying them down, accidents can manipulate these holes. So these holes are actually in really good shape. This one has a little bit of a pucker to it, not much. Panels start to rust, they lose their integrity. When sheet metal starts to rust, it loses its integrity. It gets thinner. The thinner it gets, the less ability it has to hold like to a magnet, the less dense it is. So you can see here, it's got a little bit, but hardly enough to even pull the metal, because that's so peppered and so thin. But you go on here, you can actually hear that metal is still solid. That's a good, solid piece right there. So the fact that this is still solid, I don't mind putting some small patches in it and saving that panel. So just remember, it's okay to replace panels, it's okay to section, just do it right, duplicate your factory spot welds, and help me keep these cars alive. When you have the color out for the torsion bars, I want you to check the rest of the lower suspension. Otherwise, you're bringing it out, you're daubing it on, you're putting it back, you're cleaning out the brush, and then you freeze your ass right there, Chrome Dome, and you know exactly what. You know exactly what. I love it. The guy's gone for 3 days. He tries sneaking in behind me so I can't see him, trying to head out to the shop. Doesn't stop and apologize, doesn't make any excuses for himself like I'm supposed to understand it or expect it. Where have you been for 3 days?
At home.
Just the truth. Get it over with.
At home.
Well, I don't want to be like your dad and have to beat the crap out of you, but we got cars to get done.
I told Mark at the end of last week I was taking the first of the week off, take care of some stuff, it's a personal day. He should have known. We've been friends for 40 years.
I've been waiting for you to do the Daytona stuff. You needed to do the brakes on it and do the suspension.
Brainless
I mean,
stuff.
it's not that, no, it's not brainless. That's why he gets to do it and you don't. You're the brainless one.
He should have planned a little better for the suspension to go into the Daytona because I told him. He should have known.
Why are you attacking me?
Wow,
He's the
that
one
was-
that didn't show up for 3 days.
Because I'm tired. Because I'm tired
Look
of going
at you.
through this every single time. He
Don't
decides when
spin
he's
it.
going to
Don't
get
spin
time
it,
off.
Josh. Don't spin
You
it.
decide when you're
Don't
going to get
spin it.
time off, and you know
Don't
who
spin
never
it.
takes time off?
Josh.
Me. No, screw you. I don't know who to be mad at anymore. It's getting to be just a constant mad at somebody. I got Darren over here questioning my orders and saying that this is brainless or that's not brainless. I got Royal over here saying I need this day off, I need that day off. I think I need a PA to help me keep up with who to be hating on.
When's the last time I took
whatever
time
days
off?
whatever time he wants.
Really,
Josh,
when's the last time I
Josh
took
is off 8 hours a day when he's at work.
He deserves the time off.
Today I asked him to sandblast a roof 8 hours into it. You don't go nowhere, Chrome Dome.
Houdini,
Right now, back here.
I'm going to work. I'm going to go get something done. This is
You listen to
unproductive.
me, you son of a Royal and I have been buddies since we were kids, that's a fact, but I'm also his boss. And as a manager, I have responsibilities, and as an employee, he has responsibilities. He's painting me into a corner. He's leaving me little to no options.
The engine's coming together okay. You know, Mark's done quite a few. I've only done 2. Mark's not really helping us a lot on this motor. He's just kind of overseeing it. Give us a chance to put a motor together, which is great. You know, I like that kind of work.
I honestly think it's hurting the build, the fact that Mark's sitting over yonder having his nose buried in a book.
The motor's going really well. They're slow. The 3 guys, I'm just letting them kind of learn their way through it, and I'm like just watching over it like the Godfather would to make sure that it's all done right, getting caught up on some of my reading. Perhaps Royal would know how to put a cam in an engine if he was here more often.
You take that bar off right there, Will, feel it.
Just saying.
Maybe if Mark could quit acting like a 12-year-old girl, we'd get more done on this car.
What's the deal with theater? When can I go in there on my own and look at some stuff?
When you do your video. Not backing up on it. You had an assignment. Holly gave it to you. You chose not to do it.
I thought that was all just a joke. Holly's playing the game, I thought, Mark.
The joke is you trying to get in there without that video. The requirement to be able to have access to the studio is very simple. Make a short video yourself, use all of our equipment, and have it topical to the 1970 Sunroof Challenger. You do that, even if it's not good, you get to come in. You don't do that, you're outside. Simple. It was an assignment.
So if
we don't do things just for our own
So if I do a video
use.
now, can I get in there?
When you're finished with your video, and it's a serious video, yes, I will let you go in there. Darren's bullheaded about getting into the theater, probably because he wants to go out there and entertain his kids and his grandkids and his great-grandkids and all the kids from Marcola that he doesn't even know.
No, I want to take the grandkids into the theater and give them lots of popcorn, chocolate, Pepsi, and just let them have a good time there. That's what it was made for, right? Little kids. Just want to go have a good time there, that's all.
You can tape Toucan, Talkin, Teakin, Token, Taken, Tingler,
Charlie and
Tingler,
cash,
Tarler,
too?
Cat,
Really?
Cash, Change, Coin, Peso, whatever you want in there.
The sooner we get this engine done, no thanks to Mark, the sooner we can move on to the Daytona and get the suspension done.
Now we can start putting accessories on. Heads, the oil pan, valve covers, intake manifold, carburetor, timing cover, water pump. Make it look like a real motor.
The guys are doing a good job getting the engine put together. I'm getting caught up on some of my reading that I haven't had a chance to do for a while, but we're not out of the woods. There's still quite a few pieces that need to be put together on the motor before we can call it done. True or false? The 1969 Dodge Charger Daytona was the only car to leave the assembly plant in that year with non-functional headlights. The answer coming up after the break. So was the Dodge Daytona the only vehicle to leave the assembly plant with non-functional headlights? The answer is false. The Department of Transportation required all vehicles to be driven on U.S. streets and public highways to have functional headlights. The Dodge Daytona stock cars had non-functional and only mimicked the position of the original headlights. Visit graveyardcars.com to learn more. The Superbird engine is going great. And now that Royal is back from his existential holiday, we can finally get started on the disassembly of the 6-pack 70 Challenger RT. A couple months ago, we got in a 1970 Dodge Challenger RT, 446-pack, 4-speed 324 Dana. It's very similar to our sunroof car, except this one has a white vinyl top, no sunroof, no power windows. This also is a 4-speed car. This is a really neat car, all numbers matching. I want to get the engine, transmission, drivetrain, rear axle all pulled out of the car, get it down on a dolly, disassemble the body on it, get it sent up to the Dipper in Portland, then we can move the Daytona over right away, get it up in the air, and start working on reuniting it with the drivetrain. This car doesn't have a sunroof, and frankly, I'm glad. I think that was a really, really neat option, but I never want to do another one. They're a nightmare. I had to buy a whole nother roof off a '69 Charger sunroof car, paid an exorbitant amount of money for it so I could get 2
$500
cables
is
out
not
of
a lot
it.
of money for it.
Well, according to you, $500 is a lot when you're
Not to
stealing
you.
rock stars out of the
Not to
refrigerator
you.
and selling them for $2 for $1 on the corner in Marcola.
3 for $2. I had to raise the price.
Put on. I don't have to take it
junk.
off for this.
You don't need this.
No, I would like to save it though as
Why?
an example of an original. For what? Put it down.
As a sample of an original.
Give me that.
What did you hear about that?
Freak. But this is sacred stuff. This is a fuel vapor separator. Came on all 440 and 426 Hemi engines. This bolts onto the outermost fuel pump bolt. This is a vapor return line that goes back to the fuel tank. This is the main fuel line that comes up out of the fuel pump. From here, it goes through the fuel vapor separator, then it comes out and over to the carburetor, or in this case, carburetors. Darren has a 4-barrel in his car.
Everybody's just crazy. I don't understand. It's, you know, we're trying to get this done. Mark's just standing around antagonizing people.
Darren's getting a lot of rage issues.
Winding them up, letting them go.
Royal's existential horse crap's gonna come to an end. Or do skin. I can beat you up when I was 12. I can beat you up at 52. Congratulations on the forehead and hair. You are a U-turn for humanity. On the chart of evolution, you stop right in the middle, turn all of us around, and we have to walk back the other way. You know what I'm saying? What about you?
Come on.
Mark actually did not help us out all that much. He's really good at driving that forklift. And the funny thing about that forklift is it's broken, so he has it down to a T, how to operate that thing. None of us can really do it, but more power to him.
Can't wait to get a new forklift. Gonna be the best. Gonna have exhaust, gonna have brakes, gonna have steering, gonna have a mast that doesn't get stuck up in the air. No. No, Royal, I'm not rich like you, sir. We actually made a lot of progress this afternoon on the 70 Challenger 6-pack car. We got the motor, transmission, rear end, drive shaft, exhaust system completely off of the car. So now we can let it down, put it on the dollies, get it disassembled, and sent off to American Metal Cleaning in Portland. I think we're gonna get to our goal one of these days, being able to do 12 of these a year. The guys are getting ready to put the oil pan on the 440. Now that we've got the short block built, we're safe to do that. Then we'll put the heads and the top end and the rest of the bracketry on it. So Josh, do you know what the windage tray actually does?
Yes, I do actually. It prevents oil from splashing up inside the crank.
Which will cause drag on the motor.
You're a little bit, no, no.
Is this condescending time, Mark?
So what the windage tray does, only high performance engines get it. It keeps the oil from being able to come up on the inside of the cylinder walls when you go around a corner or under heavy inertia front and back. And when oil goes up there, there's two things that can happen. If the oil from the bottom of the pan goes up the side of the block, the sump, this thing right here, could actually pick up air instead of oil. And if you were spinning a lot of RPMs and you had no lubrication internally in the engine for a few seconds, you could have some big problems, like a spun rod bearing, maybe even lose a rod or a main bearing. What do they call that?
Harmonic balancer.
Harmonic balancer? Is that for a steel crank engine or a cast iron engine?
Cast iron?
No. A cast iron
Forged crank or a cast crank?
A forged crank is a steel crank or a billet crank. Those are all basically different, same terms for a steel crankshaft, which they stopped using in 1972 on Chrysler engines. They did bring it back, I think, in 75 or 6 for 1 year, then it was gone again. The cast iron crankshaft was externally balanced versus the billet, steel, or forged one we just have here, which is internally balanced. That means that when you rotate that crankshaft up, you see these little cuts out of this?
Yeah.
Those cuts are because that thing's been balanced, okay? It was heavy right here. It was 2 grams heavy or 3 grams heavy on the balancing machine, so they cut that out. And they cut that one a little bit, and if you rotated the rest of the engine, like here you see a little cut there and a little cut there. You see holes drilled in it. That's another way they relieve it. If this was a cast iron engine, this balancer would be a lot bigger because it's like a vibration dampener too. Because they're not balancing it there, they're trying to balance it here, and they balance it back with the torque converter. So if you put the wrong year torque converter in a car that has weights on it, it will cause a tremendous vibration on a internally balanced engine. So this has to be the correct harmonic balancer. The torque converter has to be the correct one for an internally balanced engine. What engines are internally balanced?
The forged?
Yep. External balance is?
Cast iron.
Yep. See? That's called educating people. Now, I know you're against that because you want to know everything.
But a 72 340 is externally balanced. So 72 is not the same on a small block and big block.
Oh, I see. They actually went to the cast in 72, and they didn't go till 70. The actual production is 73. See, Darren knows things. That's good. That's good. When I'm trying to teach somebody like Josh something about the crankshafts, like the difference between forged and cast, and what years that came into effect, I don't need Darren jumping on my coattails. Okay? I don't need any passengers. I got plenty. Josh, you want to count these and make sure we have enough oil pan bolts to put it on?
Yes, sir.
So this is an original oil pan bolt. They use this 23 marking on several other things, but definitely is for the oil pans. That marking needs to be on there if it's going to be the correct bolt that holds the oil pan on. Any bolt with that size and diameter certainly would work, but if you're looking at it and you're being judged at a show, they're going to look through that paint and they're going to look for that 23. All those have 23 on them?
I'll go through all of them.
Make sure everyone has a 23
Can
on
you
it.
count that high?
Hey, I'm gonna pin these holes back down. I was about ready to put the oil pan on and noticed that the oil pan bolt holes on the pan, on the lip, were raised like they'd been over tightened, so I needed to correct that. Oh. That's a body man thing there.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Occasionally, somebody will over tighten the bolts on the oil pan. Valve covers do the same thing, and it'll push this lip up to where this other part of the pan won't seal. Sometimes you gotta hammer those back down flat so that the pan will seat flat and you won't have an oil leak.
Where's all your bolts, buddy?
We're doing really well on the 440. The short block is built, cylinder heads are on, torque to spec. Next, we're gonna put the lifters in it and install the rocker arm assemblies. A lifter is an oil-filled cylinder that rides one end on the camshaft, and on the other end, it goes to the push rod. The push rod comes up, connects to the rocker shaft. The rocker shaft pushes here and then pushes down here. That's what opens the valves. So that's what I'm putting in right now. These should fit pretty tight going down in there. Sometimes these little galleys will wear out. And if they do, you can lose oil pressure because that hole in there takes oil going into it that's fed from this galley, and that's what pumps this thing up. So if that was worn right there, it'd be like a set of rings in a worn out cylinder. Oil could blow past it. You'd have an engine running problem, and you'd have a noise. While I'm doing this one, you get the push rods rounded up. So these push rods go down through the cylinder head, and they ride on the lifter that I just put in. So that's what I'm doing now.
Can I do the other side, sir?
Clickety-clack, clickety-clack. Just put the same kind on the same side. They both have the same reach. I just like to be symmetrical. Here's our rocker shaft assembly. Negative. Once the exhaust manifolds are in place, we can prep the engine for paint. Always makes me worry a little bit. What did I do right? Or perhaps, what did I do wrong? That's not a good sign. That's a terrible sign. That's all I'm saying. I wouldn't do that to you. The 440 cubic inch Super Commando engine is assembled and ready for paint. The 70 Challenger 446 pack 4-speed Dana track pack car is now disassembled and off the bin pack lift. That means we can now move the Daytona over to the bin pack, raise it up in the air, and reunite it with its drivetrain. So we're getting towards the end of the week. I want to get the motor and the transmission put in the Daytona for real this time. Last time that Tom was here, we kind of mocked it up so it looked like a complete car just for him, for aesthetics. But now we want to officially get it put in the car and ready to go. The motor and the transmission are hooked together. All of the suspension is on it. We're going to lower the car down around it, get it raised up into place. Royal's been gone all week. I don't know where he's been, but he's here now. So between Royal, Josh, Darren, Derek, myself, we should be able to get out of here in a couple hours. Take your time on those, Mary. Nice to have you back.
Where have you been, Royal?
He's been where he wants to be, okay? It's none of your damn business. You leave that man alone. If he wants to take a week off, he can take a week off. He's a super important guy.
A week? It was 2 days, for crying out loud.
It's been almost a whole week. With the drivetrain assembly completely detailed for the Daytona and the car in the air, we're now gonna lower the car down and marry it up with that suspension and drivetrain, just like the factory did.
Right there.
Hey, are you gonna help or are you gonna stand there? Help.
You want to lift the hood so you can see?
Another set of eyes?
Can you lift the hood? That's why I need time off once in a while, just to get my head on straight. I don't want to end up like Mark. Come on. Mark.
What, Royal?
Lift the hood, please. Can you lift the hood and let some more light in?
Sure,
there?
I'm 9 feet tall. I could do that.
Yeah, you short shit.
Well, have Josh do it then.
Come on, Chunks.
You better watch it, you little puke.
Chunks.
The only reason you're even alive
That's
is
the guy off
me.
Goonie.
What the hell does that even mean?
Go on down, Rolo. Looking good. Might need to go to the passenger side 1/2 of 1 inch.
Say it again.
Okay, that looks pretty good. Okay, come on down. Boy, that fits better than that Challenger 440 did. Wow.
Yeah, you're gonna need to push.
Now
it
one
back a
person
little
will
bit.
speak at a time.
Okay, well, what do you want me to do then?
Please.
I'm trying to help
Okay.
prevent another catastrophe.
What the Neanderthal doesn't understand is he's going to cause a catastrophe by doing this little free dance spin over the top of a $200,000 car. That's not safe. Get down. Get down. That's not safe.
I'm gonna watch him down here, okay?
Once the car was lowered down and making contact with the K-member, we installed the K-member bolts and the transmission cross-member and bolts. Just
And the
spreading
bolts.
up in there like butter, baby, like butter. Isn't that nice? That went right strangely
Did
up
you get
in
it?
there nice. That's not a good sign. No. That's a terrible sign. It's a sign something's really gonna go wrong. The installation of the front and rear suspension probably is the smoothest one I've ever had in my life on the Daytona. Always makes me worry a little bit. What did I do right? Or perhaps, what did I do wrong? Do you want to know why we have torsion bar boots? Because Mr. Moparts and Mark Warman made sure. Not because of you, not because of Tweedledump. You want to jump, boy? Be the worst mistake you ever made. You know the other thing I've learned too? Not screaming anymore.
Okay, I'm sorry.
You want to scream, you scream. You scream all you want. I'm just gonna sit here and do my job. I'm just a little fella. Little fish in a big pond.
Sorry.
A lot of people don't realize that, but that's how it is. Just going to my own little world from here. And I'm just gonna live my own little life right here. I like this. Hey, have you seen Darren? Now that the K-member and the transmission are secured to the car, we can raise it up in the air, install the torsion bars, the torsion bar boots and clips, and preload the lower control arms. This is the time in a project where I do have to give credit where credit's due. The guys have done a good job of coming together on the Daytona. I do give them a ration of crap about it. I do have to press them hard because they need that. They get a little bit unfocused sometimes. But I know that I have the tools to be able to sharpen them and make them the guys that they need to be. This Daytona is a great example of it. Seeing the motor and the transmission come together in the car for the first time in 30 years and opening the hood and looking at it and seeing how beautiful everything is and how correct everything is very rewarding for somebody like myself that specializes in this. The Daytona Charger is now put back together with the front and the rear suspension and the engine and transmission. All the cooling is in place. So we now have it standing on its 4 feet for the first time in many, many years. But we are not out of the woods. There's still a ton of things that need to be hooked up, fastened together, interior needs to be put in, back glass. There's a slew of things. Now is not the time to rest. Now is the time to run. All I'm saying is it would have been one of the easiest things in the world. I understand that you need your space, but why would you need space in the middle of a week when we have so much going on? It just doesn't. That's all I'm saying. I wouldn't do that to you.
You know those personal days where one was my birthday. I wanted a couple extra days, take care of some stuff, my stuff. You don't remember telling you it was my birthday? I was taking 2 days off.
When's your birthday?
The 3rd.
Hey, look, everybody can make a mistake, okay? I forgot it was his birthday. I have a lot of things on my plate. I have a lot of things going on. Way more than most people around here could possibly fathom.
It's been the 3rd of September for 50 years.
It's only your birthday.
Okay,
You don't know that.
Your birthday's
It's
not an
1 week
excuse
after
to
yours,
quit
isn't it?
showing up to work. I don't take birthdays off. You know, I don't like that.
Well, I do.
I hope you feel bad.
I don't feel bad. I drove all the way out here and bought Mark lunch on his birthday. I always try to do something. Not much, but whatever I can do.
You should feel
I
bad.
took my
I'm
day-
glad I didn't get you anything for your birthday.
I got a lot done
I'm
at my
still
house.
not gonna.
I enjoy spending time with him most of the time when he's not yelling at me.
Where were you?
I was at home.
He just told you it was his birthday. Leave him alone. He has the right to have a couple of days off. If I would have known that, I would have gave you that. You don't deserve it now. You would have deserved it had you said something to me. I got a shop to run.
He said a birthday every year. What's so special about this year? I don't think Raul had a birthday at all. I think he just went to joyride in his Jeep.
I think we had one of the best weeks Graveyard Carz has ever had. Would you have to agree with that?
Except for Royal's hiatus.
You know what? Royal has every right to have a hiatus. Apparently it was his birthday. I forgot. I'm a bad guy. I killed Kennedy. That's fine.
Did you get him a present?
I didn't get him a present. His present's working with me. Same gift I give you
pay
every
him
year.
For a day, for like a holiday day for the birthday?
I'm paying for a day off, and I'm paying for the 3 days off. It works for me, okay? He has a vacation just like everybody does. Take it on your vacation. That's what I gotta say. The Superbird engine got completely assembled and ready for paint, including the exhaust manifolds and all the trinkets that need to be installed on it before it gets painted. Is that fair? You okay?
Yep.
We also got the 1969 Dodge Charger Daytona reunited with front and rear suspension, including an engine, transmission, and all the cooling for the first time in maybe 30 years. Huh?
Nice. Go ahead, you're doing well. Don't sit there and look at me.
Looking at you.
Well, you look at me and I'm just looking back. Go ahead.
Looking back where? I'm here. I'm sitting right here. You're looking over there. Can your neck not turn the rest of the way? Would it? Yeah. Well, that's your whole body.
Yeah, no, it doesn't turn well. Okay, go ahead.
You're a freak. So, Superbird engine put together, Daytona remarried front and rear suspension, engine and transmission, six-pack Challenger, six-pack, that's 3 2 barrels, V for victory, we talked about that, disassembled, Royal existential, but I understand right before we got here that you got your video done. Is that true?
Correct.
And I understand it's about a purple Challenger?
Correct.
Okay.
440, correct.
Nice work.
1970.
You the man.
You're gonna love it. That's as small as it gets. Okay, what am I supposed to do? Just start right. Yep, it's filming. Hi, Darren Kirkpatrick here from Graveyard Carz. We were all supposed to make it. Look at me bouncing. Okay. Hi, Darren Kirkpatrick here, the real star of Graveyard Carz. I just wanted to get something off my chest here today. Get this off my chest. You know, we're supposed to make a video, so I'm going to make a video of the Challenger. Not about the six-pack Challenger, but about my Challenger. So I just wanted to have a... I had a small list here today I brought with me about some of the items that were taken. Hope you all can bear with me. Basically, a set of $400 headlight bezels, some engine pulleys. Now, some of these items have been returned, but I'm just going to go ahead and give you the whole list now, so in case you can get the gist of it. Just the size of this. No. Can you guys cut this out? So maybe you guys will know the full extent of these items that were taken. You guys just think maybe just a couple screws, nuts, bolts, brackets. No. A lot of major parts. You know, Mark talks about the originality of these vehicles. He's taken my car's originality. He's taken my car's soul. He's like Satan. He has stolen my car's soul and committed it to hell for the rest of his life through eternity. But I need to bring it back. You know what I mean? I'm Angel Darren, buddy. Okay, headlight bezels, engine pulleys, engine belts, motor mount, grommets. Oh man, I'm getting madder by the minute here. He's taken my distributor twice, not once, but twice he's taken a distributor. My clutch.
My pressure plate. My throttle bearing. My clutch disc. My leakage. My dash stick. My reverse line.
And the list goes on and on and on and on and on, as you can see. We don't have enough time to read this list today. And do you know how to tell when Mark is lying? It's easy, his lips are moving. Anyway, are you happy, Holly? You got your video now. Are you happy, Holly? I hope you're happy. Okay. Since I now have done Mark and Holly's wishes, is it okay that I go in the theater now? Thank you. Wow, that was crazy, huh? Just punch the red button. May I help you, my son? Yes, my son, are you hard of hearing? May I pray for those ears?